Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about gardening and some of the things I'm doing. I'm getting a lot of emails asking, Zach, what are you doing this year? We've heard you talk about some of the things you're doing. Can you share with us some of the strategies that you have going forward for this year? And so we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I want to tell you a story. Recently, I shared that me and my youngest son went fishing. We went trout fishing. There's a place we go to, and they have really nice sized rainbow trout. And my son, my youngest son, he has a lot of experience at fishing down at our fishing hole at the creek that we go to, almost on a weekly basis, if not daily basis sometimes. And when the heat of the summer gets really hot, we love going fishing down there. He loves, basically it's small stuff like perch and bluegill and sunfish. And he just has a fun time doing that. And so he's got a lot of experience on getting some fish, and he loves fishing. But, these trout are sometimes like 2-pound, 3-pound trout. And so they're a little bit bigger and they fight. And getting that drag down is a little bit of a, learning curve for him, but he got it. But as he was going through that, getting his pole in there and getting those first few bites and trying to reel those first few fish in, he lost a few. Anyway, we get to this place and, he's, fighting with the drag, and I'm helping him, trying to encourage him. Even one time it was my fault that he lost a fish because his drag was set fine. And I told him, increase your drag. And he tightened it too much. It was already fine and lost the fish. It just broke the line. And so you use that drag to play that fish, loosen it up, tighten it up. And some of you guys who fish, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he finally got it, but he had lost a couple. And during one of the times he lost, there was a couple guys who were there fishing, and they were fly fishing. They had decked out with waders. You could tell this is their thing. They're all decked out with all the gadgets and stuff hanging off all their body and stuff like that. Anyway, he sees my little 10-year-old lose a fish. It was a nice sized fish that he lost. The line snapped, and the guy says, he's holding this fish he just caught with his fly fishing. Would you like this fish? You can have this fish. You want this fish? He's trying to, he's thinking my son is disappointed. And I'm like, no, we don't need your fish. He's like, are you sure? It's okay. We have plenty of fish. You can have my fish. I don't need your fish. I'm trying to teach him how to fish. The whole saying, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. I'm like, he'll get it. He's doing great. Let him continue to do what he's doing. I don't need your fish. And it's just, and I don't think the guy was, he was just trying to be nice. He saw the little kid, lose a fish, and he figured it'd be disappointment. My son, is not one of these kids, who you have to get a trophy every time. He wasn't raised that way. All losing that fish did was, strengthen his determination to get that fish, He's going to keep going. Whereas I think the society today, we baby our children so flippin' much that it's like, oh, are you okay? Are your feels okay? Here, have a fish. You can have my fish. I don't want your fish. It's the same thing with gardening. That's why I tell you the story. Because when you take on that job of trying to grow food, you're going to come into contact with so many obstacles. And I see it every year. So many people give up. They run into pest pressures, whether it's insect pest pressures or just four-legged, mammal pet, deer coming over, or armadillos or groundhogs or rabbits getting into the garden and just chewing things down. And it's frustrating. But I want to encourage you to be like my 10-year-old and just buckle down and get that determined look on your face and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to learn and I'm going to fail. It's okay, because with failure comes experience. What's that old saying? How many light bulbs did Thomas Edison, fail at before he finally got it right? He figured out how many thousands of ways or hundreds of ways not to make a light bulb. You're going to figure out all the ways not to grow a garden. And congrats on that, because you're learning. Does that make sense? But we are such in an age where we baby our children that it makes me want to pull my hair out. They have to experience failure. That's how they're going to learn. You are the same way. I am the same way. I have learned lots of ways on how not to grow a garden. And then I'm learning some ways that work really well on how to grow a garden. I don't know them all yet. but I'm still learning. All right, I'm 5 minutes into this video and I want to share some of the things that we're doing this year. Okay. Number one, something we've done in the past that does work are these things. Okay. These are motion sensors. Okay. And so there's like a little motion sensor thing in here, and you can turn it on different settings based on what you think works well. The directions may have stuff online that tells you which ones may work well or which ones might work better for certain issues, pest pressures that you might be having. Okay, so this is like a deer. For us, it's going to be deer. Okay, we have deer that come into our garden and they just munch down stuff. And we have rabbits too. We have a standing order on our homestead to shoot all rabbits on site. Doesn't matter. There's no shortage of rabbits. I'm not, it's not an endangered animal. All rabbits shot on site. No questions asked. I can't tell my kids, I'm like, there's a bounty. I'll pay you $1 for every rabbit you kill, But, these are for deer, and they work for other things too, but you basically turn it on, and I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, it really, it hurts your ears. My kids, they walk in front of the garden, and they're like, ah, because their ears are more sensitive than mine. I was in the military. I drove in a Bradley, and, if you're in a Bradley seat, you're right next to the engine compartment, which is loud enough as it is. And then you have that 25 millimeter cannon going off right above your head, basically. And it's your hearing is just not so good when you get out. It bothers them. So this works really well. And we have found in the past, it works really well. This combined with also, if you take those Walmart bags, those Walmart plastic bags, and you tie them around your fence post, the waving and the wind, because the wave, just with any slight wind, that really puts the deer on edge. And you combine those bags with these, this will work almost by itself. But if you put the bags along with this, those Walmart bags on top of your poles with this, the deer just don't like all the movement. It's a little bit too scary. There's lights flashing. There's this high-pitched ringing in their ears. And so they usually will back out. I've even had deer attacking this. I'll go out there and find these laying on the ground because the deer, some of the male deer get aggressive with it, and they'll attack it, and they'll headbutt it and knock it over. That's one thing I'm doing. And again, here, I'm not giving you links for any of these things. You're going to have to do your own research. I'm not getting any payback. I'm not getting any kickbacks for any of these products that I'm recommending to you, okay? These are just things that I found that work that I want to share with you to help you become a more successful gardener. Okay, this is something new I'm trying this year. It's called Neem Cake. Now, in the past, I have done videos on some really phenomenal videos on neem oil, getting the organic, 100% pure, cold-pressed neem oil from the neem tree. It's a tree, I believe, that grows in Africa and India and some other places. And so that works phenomenal. The issue is, however, the neem oil must be reapplied after every rainfall. It will wash off, even if you comprise it with like a soap, like a natural soap, like Dr. Bronner's or something like that. It helps it, but it's still, rain will wash it away, and you have to keep applying it. And if you forget, that's when the insects quickly move in. And they, go to work. This is Neem Cake, and you basically put this into your soil, and it's got a fertilizer component to it, and it's taken up by the roots. And there's some great reviews. I've never used it before, so I don't have any firsthand experience, but I am going to try it this year. I'm putting it in with my seedlings. I'm basically taking some chunks of this, and I'm watering it down and breaking it apart in some water and liquid, and then mixing that in with my seed starting soil. So I'm trying to get this so it's going to have an uptake of the roots for my plants to help basically from the inside out repel the insects. Again, great reviews online. Do your own research on Neem Cake. We're going to be using that as one of the things that we're using for our garden this year. I'm going to be using it extensively for a number of things. Also, just put some of that in my sheep's water, to help with any external parasites, mites, and things like that might be getting on their skin. So neem oil is good for that too. Let's see. This is a Grow Well proven. It's an all-purpose farm-grade organics, and this is basically pelletized chicken poop, and it smells like it too. Pelletized. I'm one of these guys, I live on a homestead. The smell of poop, it just means things are growing. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't mind the farm smell. But I'm going to try this again this year. And in the past, I have used This is, again, the Grow Well Proven Organics. It's chicken manure, basically, that's pelletized. The stuff I really like and I have seen phenomenal results with is rabbit manure in all forms. You can get it in a bottle. You can get it by the truckload. There's a rabbit farm not nearby, not too far away, and it's they provide rabbits for the science department at the University of Arkansas, and they have just a huge amount of rabbits in their place, and they have all that poop. And you can, I think it was like before, it was like when we first moved here, it was like $20 a scoop. I think it's gone up to like $30 a scoop now. Anyway, that stuff is gold. I mean, you can put it just fresh right on your garden. It won't burn anything. Rabbit manure is by far the best thing to put on your garden. Okay, you cannot put hot chicken manure on your garden. It will burn your plants. Unless it's like grass-based stuff like sorghum or corn. You can do that. That's fine. But on tomatoes, peppers, things like that, you want to use something pelletized. So I'm going to try to incorporate that into my seedlings also this year, a little bit of pellets, and then also into some of the surrounding area where I'm planting my plants. And I have manure on there from chicken or from rabbits from years past on there too that's breaking down. And again, rabbit manure is the best thing. If you can get it, absolutely try to put that on your garden. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some more things coming up of what we're doing as growing season continues. I'm getting my seed starts going. I have a number of stuff already growing in the garden and in other places. I hope you guys are getting on the ball and getting this stuff done because the way the world's looking, we're going to talk about that in some other videos. You need to be planting right now. Again, if you need seeds, it's still not too late to buy seeds. I recommend Clearwater Valley Farms, okay? ClearwaterValleyFarms.com. I don't get any kickbacks for selling any of their products. Again, no kickbacks. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just promoting good products that I believe in. And the reason I'm promoting them over that other seed company that's in the Ozarks is because they support that thing. And I don't want to support companies that are left-leaning. Absolutely left-leaning and support insanity like that. So I support ClearwaterValleyFarms.com, and I think you should get your seeds from there if you need seeds. Also, one more thing too, our buckets are still for sale. We have a few left. A few of you guys bought those. Once we get done making these, we're not making any more. These are our shower buckets, or outdoor camping shower buckets. If you need that, we've sold a lot of them over the years, but we are done making them because of the increased cost of making them and the parts involved and the shipping prices that are raising through the roof. We're just not making them anymore. So if you need those, if you want a good shower bucket, good quality shower bucket, people have been using them for years, and we've been selling them for years. So, all right, leave a comment below. Let me know what your top garden tip is. List one. If you could just have one, if you could share one top garden tip, put it down below. Share it with someone else because there are people here who are coming here to learn. And you might share with them something that saves them a lot of heartache. And that's good, especially for the days that we're going into. It's good to have food. All right, guys. See you next time in the homestead. Bye. This is Grandma. Grandma survived the Great Depression. She survived the Great Depression because her supply chain was local and she knew how to do stuff. Grandma was smart. Grandma told us to make do with what you got. She also said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Homesteading is all about self-reliance and declaring ourselves to be independent from the system. We grow our own food, we raise our own animals, and doing these things helps safeguard our families from the unpredictable world that surrounds us. But what about banking? I love being my own power company, but what about being my own bank? Right now, our country is over $30 trillion in debt and rising. The Fed keeps printing money, and the Congress won't stop spending money. Staying attached to the modern banking system and their investment vehicles is like putting all of your eggs in one very, very fragile basket. On one side, you have the threat of inflation and your savings value floating away. And the other side is a possible deflationary stock market collapse, just like what happened in the 1930s. Genesis Gold Group is like a basket holding eggs, and these eggs are impossible to break. History shows us that all paper investments have and will return to their intrinsic value eventually. Zero. But gold, silver, and other precious metals have never, ever been worthless. In every collapse throughout history, people have turned back to precious metals to find monetary value. If you have a 401k, an IRA, or a savings account where you're literally watching the purchasing power inflate away, give Genesis Gold Group a call right now, today, this instant. They can develop a strategy for you in the days ahead. I can tell you how I raise sheep, I can tell you how I raise chickens, or the best way to grow tomatoes, or how to hook up a solar panel. But Genesis Gold Group is your best shot at safeguarding your hard-earned savings and investments during this increasingly turbulent time in history. The link and phone number is in the description below, or visit their website at genesisgoldgroup.com. And be sure to say you heard about them from An American Homestead.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of An American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait.